Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the telecoms regulator has stopped short of ordering BT to sell off Openreach. It's the part of the company that looks after its broadband network. Instead, Ofcom has this morning said that Openreach should become a distinct company within the BT group. Rivals such as Sky and TalkTalk have argued that Openreach should be completely separated from BT following criticisms over lack of investment and poor service levels, and because they claim the fact that BT owns the company that develops and maintains the network gives it an unfair advantage. But the chief executive of BT, Gavin Patterson, said there was no evidence of that a separation of the company would be any better for customers.
There is no evidence anywhere around the world that structural separation works. In fact, the few countries that have done it have led to chaos in many cases, prices going up, no additional choice for customers. What Openreach will be able to provide with this proposal is better service, more investment and more choice for customers.
Well, the chief executive of Ofcom said their decision to make Openreach more independent means that it will have a legal obligation to customers to provide a faster and more reliable service.
So what we expect the changes today to bring about absolutely a faster, more reliable broadband, because Openreach by law will have to act in the interests of all its customers, not just BT. That means it will have to provide a more responsive service. If customers do want faster speeds, they do want more fibre optic cable right to their doorstep, Openreach by law will have to respond.
Explain. Well, in the studio with me is Rachel Neiman from Everyone. It's a charity that campaigns for reliable internet for everyone in the UK. Also, Kirsty Stiles, a technology journalist and editor at the New Statesman and its spin-off website NS Tech. And on Skype, I'm joined by Dido Harding, the CEO of TalkTalk. She wants Openreach to be separated from BT. Thank you all for joining us. Kirsty, it all sounds very technical to your average Joe, doesn't it? Why should anybody out there actually care about this? What difference could it make?
I have to say, talking about internet connectivity is a bit like asking people to chat about their plumbing. You know, you're not necessarily that bothered in case something goes wrong, and usually you're happy to leave it to an expert if something does go wrong. The issue with what's happened with Openreach is that this is a deal that was struck 10 years ago when Facebook was still in nappies, before Snapchat existed, and actually before the first iPhone ever came out. The landscape, the digital landscape, has transformed incredibly beyond even BT's possible understanding over the last 10 years, and that means that we need a better digital infrastructure so that people can have better access to digital services, government services, and so that businesses can do what they need to do, which is do business on the internet. So,
Rachel, everybody knows that there are the haves and the have-nots when it comes to access to good internet. Will what's been announced today make a big difference?
I hope it will, because I think there are still too many people who don't have access to fast and reliable internet. And clearly that's essential now for the way we live our lives. I think for economic reasons, for social reasons, even in the political and democratic process, it is essential to have fast and reliable access to the internet.
And do you believe it is being hampered because of the way the system is set up at the moment?
I think that it's essential that there is enough competition to allow other organisations and other corporations to provide what's needed. I don't think your average consumer really minds too much about the institutional or organisational structure behind it, but they need to have access to the internet. So however that can be best delivered, I think is what your average consumer really is interested in.
Dido Harding, opening up the Openreach to companies like yours, for you to have a greater say in what is effectively done with the plumbing behind the internet, is that going to make a difference to consumers, do you believe?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction to create a legally separate Openreach, but there's a real danger that it looks like it's a good thing, but it doesn't change anything at all. And the problem we've got is that the copper wires that go to homes and businesses across the country are all owned and run by BT. And by Ofcom, the regulator's own analysis, BT has made £4 billion more over the last 10 years than they should have done in the current regulatory regime, because Openreach's current what's called functional separation hasn't been working. So the danger is we're replacing one word functional with another legal, but we're still dependent on detailed regulation, lots of lawyers, nothing that any consumer or small business wants to care about, and it won't change anything. Which is why I think that it would be much better to create an Openreach PLC, a separate company, where we could all see how much money Openreach was making, whether or not they were then investing what they make in improving our internet, or whether they were paying that.
Sorry to interrupt. When you talk about the money that BT is making from this, it sounds like it's more about commercial interest than what's in the public interest.
Correct, and that's actually what Ofcom have said, that BT Group's ownership of Openreach, as currently set out, enables them to maximise their shareholders' best interest.
So you're not, so you're not concerned about it then in terms of trying to make things better for people out there? It's about the individual company's commercial interest?
No. Quite the opposite. I absolutely think that Openreach needs to be run for the country, for all of us who use it, regardless of whether we get our services from BT, from TalkTalk, from Sky, from Vodafone, from anyone. And the problem with it is that you've currently got that national asset owned by one of those retail providers. And the regulator's saying they've been abusing that ownership. They're proposing what I think is in danger of being a fudge, which is a bit more regulation to try and prevent BT abusing that ownership going forward. And we should all be scared that if we don't understand it, and as you said, the danger is none of us care about that detail until it means that we don't have the internet services we all expect.
Dido Harding, thank you. Kirsty and Rachel, thank you very much. And just to bring you a quick statement from BT saying, we welcome Ofcom's recognition that structural separation would be a disproportionate move. Our proposals provide Ofcom with every benefit they're seeking, but without any of the substantial and unavoidable costs associated with legal incorporation. We will continue to engage with them over the coming months.